A white single cab OBS diesel with a flat deck back. The vehicle equivalent of a 21-year-old virgin. The purity of this truck is driven exclusively by a contractor who will shake your hand and do a job well done. I don't know if it's that pure image, but the older I get, the more I find an OBS with a flat deck is a good look. But do you have to be an honest contractor or a virgin to drive one of these things? Well, it's one option. Your other option is just to full out admit this is not a work truck. This is simply a pure pleasure vehicle. Check out this OBS beast in California, for example. I mean, move past those rims, move past those mirrors, and just see that this flat deck is a pretty badass looking option. As a play toy, you just embrace the fact that you aren't bringing anything with you anyway, unless you're going to strap it down. Alright, let's see this thing in motion so we can get a good feel for what it looks like. Oh, baby. Nope, don't get distracted. Focus on the box. I am, goddammit, not that box, goddammit. You got those lights on the top and bottom. There's no doubt that that's a good looking flat deck. It just screams, this is no longer a work truck in any way. Then you got this guy, for example. I mean, he's just going all out. You got, what, a custom 10-inch tip. You got the 18-wheeler lugs. You've got the top of a box. I don't know if that's supposed to be ironic there or if it truly opens and he keeps straps in there for keeping shit down. Clearly a PhD student, maybe a doctor in training, way a man who is confident in his own OBS skin. Alright, the OBS chick and the good doctor have convinced us flat decks can look good. But I hear you ask, why and when is the argument to ever put a flat deck on a personal vehicle that isn't a work truck? Look at this unpolished gemstone, for example, that's for sale near me. You know, a paltry, say, $5,000 out the door to get this badass OBS. And then what? Do you put a new box on there? I mean, the box, you gotta find it. That's $1,500 probably by the time you track it down. Then you gotta go get it, and what are you gonna do? Strap it to the top of your other box like this dumbass? That's another probably $400 or $500 to move it. Then you gotta fix and install it. Then you gotta paint maybe the whole truck or the box just to match it. So, oh my god, it's just too exhausting even to think about that, let alone to pay pretty much the price of another truck just to put a box on this one. Deck like this is a way easier, cheaper solution. Even more ballin' out deck like this. I mean, it's an afternoon's work and it's still less expensive. You can't tell me that's not kind of sweet. Because critically, an OBS can pull the flat deck, you know? You don't have to sacrifice looking like this. Alright, it's cost effective. It's cool. It's a respectable option. But you'll be damned if you'll use tie-down straps when you want to move a load. So what are you going to do about that?
1995 Ford F350 dump truck.
The OBS dumper. Here is what you can do, ladies and gentlemen, if you're the type who need to move a lot of aggregate. I mean, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're either a contractor or you're a hobby farm badass. You're not probably going to Cars and Coffee in this thing, but let's face it, a dumper is pretty much a flat deck with some metal sides and a hydraulic underneath it. Look at that cowled hood on this dumper. This man is showing us exactly how you can mix business and pleasure. Form and function mixing perfectly in the 7-3 mixing bowl to form this OBS god. Okay, that's an interesting center console upgrade. Not sure how you make right-hand turns, but probably comfortable under the right circumstances over short distances. Alright, let's not get bogged down in whatever this guy's doing in the inside of this truck. The point is, if you like to move a lot of pea gravel around, you can get a dumper, which is essentially just a flat deck with some sides on it. You don't have to go on a quest to find a whole another box. You're convinced a flat deck is the way to go. But hold on, there are a few drawbacks that you should note before pulling the trigger. Take this flat deck, for example. Half of us could probably build it ourselves. Looks good, inexpensive. It's just a simple frame with a couple boards on it. So not bad, right? Well, for starters, there are no tie-down strap attachment points, so you're basically not going to be able to put anything on here, which means it has no utility whatsoever. Second, there's no headache bar, rack, sort of back rack thing. Giant piece of metal that will protect you and the cab from anything flying around, which is pretty nice to have. So that's a serious limitation to this deck as well. And lastly, as anyone from the north should be able to tell you, it is probably 2 years or less before this metal starts to rust through, and then you are just waiting for the first person to rear end you and send this right through the back of your cab and spike you into your own windshield. Look forward to that as well. Look, if you're an 85-year-old potato farmer in a rural area and all you do is watch YouTube and go to church on Sundays, then by all means put this deck on the back of your truck so you can live that lifestyle. This isn't about hate, this is about education. Take the good doctor, for example. Look at the tie down options along both sides of this box. Just security for days. Then you've got that headache rack with a big old mesh topper on it. Nothing is getting past that to hurt this cab. I mean, this is the sort of decision making that is taking this man probably to some sort of public office here anytime. At least president of his HOA. Finally, the last thing you want to pay attention to is just the size of the back rack area. You want a height that generally follows the contours of the truck, kind of follows the natural slopes, doesn't stick up looking all crazy. Alright, so what's our lesson here, folks? If you got a good box on your truck, don't be destroying it. Preserve it, keep it, they're not making new ones. But if you're in a position to get an OBS and for whatever reason it doesn't have a box, then don't fret yourself. You can get a nice little flat deck here, you can put sides on it, and use it for strapping shit, and guess what? We will respect that.